All right, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's midweek movers, February 24th, 2021. Can't call this the midweek movers live stream without talking about GameStop, up 100% today, and last I checked, it was up another 100% after hours. That gets exciting again. I didn't take that trade. I know a couple of different professional traders were actually hopping on that though this time around. Um, a- Definitely more liquidity on the long side that we saw, at least at the start of this run compared to at the start of the previous run. We'll see where that takes us, but any stocks with very high short interests, just like when GameStop was roaring last time, we should be taking a look at those to see possible breakouts going into the end of this week. Wanted to cover the flush that we had with the growth stocks on Tuesday, along with the bounce back, and then the rest of my watch list with breakout potential in the second half of the week. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Nick. I do these live streams on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central each week. Have a trading recap on Friday where I go over how each of my watch lists performed, along with how I personally performed, breaking down all the stocks that I traded, both the ones that I made money on and the ones that I lost money on. More importantly, the ones that I lost money on, because that's a learning experience for me and that's a learning experience for you guys as well. And then on Sunday morning, I post a breakout watch list, 15 to 20 stocks with breakout potential in the upcoming week. So if you're into trading stocks, subscribe to the channel and follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're coming here for a specific stock, the timestamps for each of the stocks that we're going to talk about today are going to be in the comment section. Quick disclaimer, anything that I talk about is not financial or stock trading advice. Trading comes with financial risk. Please do your own due diligence before trading. All right, just a quick share of my portfolio. So with the flush on Tuesday, I was lucky. Well, not lucky. I was prepared. The last week and a half or so, I've been saying that a lot of the growth stocks are overextended. There's not many bases for more kind of stocks to break out, more juice to come into the growth market. So typically, when you have growth stocks this far extended going into kind of last week, really, you're more prone to just a quick flush and kind of run all the stops that are set. Last week I was selling pretty viciously into strength. I only had on a couple positions going into Tuesday. So Tuesday I was down maybe a 0.5%. Monday down less than that. So I'm basically flat on the week. These are my current holdings, and not very heavily invested. I think I'm about 20% long. For me, I'm a breakout trader. My style is waiting for things to pull back, tighten up, volume, price both to tighten up, and then trading the breakouts. That's my style. Some traders are pullback buyers. So when a stock pulls back to the 20-day, the 50-day, they're adding to the position because that's a lower price and they're thinking it's going to bounce. And that's a perfectly fine strategy too. There's many ways to make money in the stock market. What I would say is whatever style that you have found the best so far, really stick to that and really learn that. Because I'm a breakout trader and not a pullback buyer, I wasn't buying anything on Tuesday. I was sitting with mostly cash, just protecting my portfolio. It's like if Shaq was just spotting up from the three, he would never do that. I'm not going to be buying pullbacks because that's not what I'm good at. That's not what I've studied. So why would I quickly just jump into something that I'm not familiar with, I'm not skilled at, when there's money on the line? I know what I do best. I'll stick to that. You guys can buy pullbacks, and that might work as well. Always try and stick to what your personality does best in the market, because then you're fighting one less demon while trading. Quick spiel on that. All right, so breakout watch list. We got 14 stocks for you guys. Not going to read them all out, and then got some stocks requested from StockTwits and Twitter. If you guys see a stock that's not on this list that you guys want me to cover, drop it in the live chat. We'll get to each of those stocks. All right, let's jump to the charts. And let's just start with GameStop. I want to see what it ended up at. Up 83% after hours. Okay, it was around 100% when I hit that uh, or put it on the PowerPoint. Man, 100% today, 83% after hours, which is basically another 100% because that's only $46 up. This is $76 up. Really, really impressive move with a ton of volume coming in. I mean, this obviously flushed, had another pullback, and I mean, this could have been tradable. Not so much in my system because I don't like stocks that pull down more than 40%. So, I mean, I'm around here. That's where I'm not trading. But again, that's just my system. Plenty of ways to make money in the market. Obviously, this went up 100%. So, lots of momentum, lots of volume coming in. This will be interesting to see how this plays out tomorrow and Friday because if you remember last time this started taking off, a lot of the growth stocks, typical growth stocks, were pulling back because this was getting a lot of the money. GameStop, BlackBerry, AMC, all that was the momentum names. The Wallstreetbets names were getting a lot of the money shifting over from growth stocks. So does a move like this do the same thing? Does it pull away from some growth stocks during a week that we already had a flush on Tuesday? Maybe. We'll see. And that's why you have to have your stop set. So any downside risk is going to be controlled. And you're always protecting your capital first. That's the first goal of trading. Protect what you have, and then when the odds are in your favor, when you could take higher probability chances on a breakout trade, then you can trade more. But that's GME. Let's go to KOSS, KOSS. That was up 54%, up 56% after hours. What did this hit overall? $127 all the way down to 18. Interesting. You see when it goes and broke out, let's see, what day was this? February 18th when it kind of poked over the 8-day exponential. That got a lot of volume. Today got a lot of volume. Not so much volume during this pullback. So, I mean, if this can get going and break over like the 20-day moving average, there's a big volume shelf through here. So over here just shows the volume at each of the price ranges. So when you see this like cave in the volume, that just means that not many people were getting in around these prices. They were more so getting in a little bit higher through here or lower. So typically once you get into these kind of caves volume between the two volume shelves, you could appreciate in price much quicker. But then once you get up here, a lot of people are trapped at these higher prices, might be selling for break even. So got to protect, maybe take some profit, protect your entry if it does really get ripping tomorrow. What was the other one? AMC. Wanted to cover that too. When do they have earnings? Unconfirmed. So up 22% after hours, a nice gap in the chart. Vaccines seem to be working. I mean, we're starting to see that. I mean, we're starting to see some money flow into different areas away from tech. With the market or with the economy reopening, might see. I mean, a play with AMC going here. Interesting. All right, so those are the big three short squeezes going on right now. I don't have a horse or what's the saying? I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm definitely rooting for Wallstreetbets because that's always entertaining. But let's get to some possible breakout stocks for the rest of the week that fit my trading strategy. All right, so first we have ANGO. What I look for with a stock is it in a strong uptrend? Is it above the 200-day moving average? Is the 200-day moving average itself in an uptrend for more than a month? It's a Minervini requirement. Is it above the 50-day moving average? And is it within 40% from the highs? So this absolutely fits that. Lower volume name to it, but only pulled back, I think it was, yeah, 11%, 10%, 11% from the highs here. So not much of a pullback after, I mean, if I'm zooming out here, really picked up. Uh, since mid-October, up 115%. Pullback, now we're at the 20-day inside candle today on lower volume. So maybe this is kind of a bull trap where lower volume coming in, just bouncing off the 20-day, and then we flush even further down. And that's why I'm only buying as the stock goes out, right? It's breaking over a certain point. Buyers are coming in. So I'll be looking for a break over yesterday's high of 2073 as a possible buy point, just coming right through there. And one thing that all right, you get the point. I'm not going to draw that. One thing that I always look for is volume on the name when it's coming through a breakout point. The more volume you can get, the higher probability that it's not just going to be a head fake and then a drop down. So check your relative volume. You can use finviz.com for free to check the relative volume compared to the rest of the day. That's a good place to check. So ANGO, only 10% down, holding that 20-day moving average, and has held up really well compared to some other stocks. Next, we have APPS, had this really nice flush on Tuesday and ran all the way back up, closed at the high of the day. This might have even closed, let's see, what was the closing price? 78.13, 82. Yeah, so oh, that's a red candle. Yeah, so closed really well on Tuesday. Today, just kind of sideways action, lower volume compared, bounced slightly above the 20-day moving average, and now a couple different ways to play this. If we can undercut the low, and you're going to hear me say this a lot on the stocks that I wanted to go over. If we can undercut the low, like the market just kind of pulls back in the morning and then takes out the daily high, that would be a really quality entry for my type of buying. So 82.19, if we could break over that. Otherwise, it might need a little time to kind of shake out and set up a lower pivot. You could take Monday's high, 84.25, as a possible buy point if it never undercuts the low. That could work as well. But really strong name that I've been wanting to get into for a while. So after a nice little flush, let's see, did this close the gap? 64.80, 66, not quite, but did much of the job closing the gap there. So we'll see if this can take off. APPS. Next, CDMO. Yeah, this is showing after hours too, so 1860 would be like right through here. So that's where we've already closed. This is just some after hours movement. So with this one, I mean, obviously you got the 250.28 all in the right order. Breakout malfunction on Monday, which is one strike against the chart. I'm going to be just looking for a break over 1875, which is the high of these 2 days. And then also, this was 1871. Today's high was around 1860, I think. So if we can just break over those previous days highs through here, so 1875, that's my possible buy point on this one, CDMO. Let's go DAC. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please leave a like on the video. That helps it push it to more traders. All right, so we got 250.28 all in the right order. Nice flush on Tuesday. Ran right back up to all-time highs today. And we have, let's see, 40.80, 41.06. So we did break over the previous high, but I'm just going to say a break over today's high is my possible buy point. If this one pulls back for a day, two, maybe we put this on the breakout watch list come Monday or come Sunday, sorry, that would even set the trade up better because we've already jumped 19% from the low there. So buyers have already stepped in. If we give short-term traders some time to pull back, to sell, take some profit, and then come through with another set of buyers, that would be a more powerful breakout. So this one might need a little bit of time, or we just take out 41.06 tomorrow, and that's my possible buy point. All right, EPIX. This one, just basically a bull flag here. One high volume day, not sure exactly what went on on the 18th that caused that one strike against the chart. But I mean, even that I don't know. It didn't come on much of a red day, so I take that back. That's not a strike against it. Um, Pulled back under the 8-day exponential. That's one of the things I need to see before possible buy on something this early. But we have two daily highs right at around the same price, 27.70, 27.68. So this 2-day pivot through here is my possible buy point, and it's going to take a little bit to get up. Actually, no, this is probably reflecting after hours, 26.65. So it's going to take like a 4-ish% move to get there, and uh, if that comes on volume, then we can add through that pivot point, EPIX. Let's see what, yeah, I mean, it ran 380% from mid-December, not selling off much after this gap, so definitely one to watch. Next, we have HIMX. I've traded this one before a couple times. Now we're getting that nice kind of pullback, undercut of the 20-day with yesterday's malfunction of growth stocks, and higher highs, higher lows. Couldn't close over the 8-day exponential moving average. And on this one, we do have a volume shelf through here, so possible resistance up until this point. But then, as you see, we have two daily highs right through here, coinciding with the top of this volume shelf, so very little resistance once you get over that. So I'll just be looking for a break over 1532. They're both the exact same price. The highs from the 19th and the 22nd. That's my possible buy point with HIMX. LE. This is one that I got stopped out of on Monday, thankfully before the pullback on Tuesday. But after that, we rallied up. This is again showing after hours. I hate how that does that, but 31.45 right around here is where we closed today. So close to the highs here, and you have 32.40, the high from February 19th. That's going to be my possible buy point right through there. Couple daily highs. If we could take that out, that would be great. I also really like that today's low undercut the previous low. So like anyone who got in with the pullback buy and then it ran up a little bit, moved their stop up, they got shaken out. Did we also undercut this low? Let's see, 27.87, 27.79. We undercut that low as well. Really nice to see. So let's see if we could break 32.38 or 32.40 for the possible buy point for LE here. Definitely, I really like the double undercutting of lows there. Takes out all the stops. ORGO. This is one that I had on my watch list today as kind of a stock to actually just watch. Because once we get these flushes, and I went to cash, almost all to cash last week, so I'm basically around account highs right now. So when I'm coming back in, it's not like I'm playing catch up, and I'm going to let a couple stocks break out and hold their breakouts because for a lot of people, they got stopped out with the long lower wicks on Tuesday, and everyone's going to want to be softening up their P&L, their profit and loss, going in for the week and for the month. February is wrapping up, and a lot of growth stocks just got hit on Monday and Tuesday. So the first couple breakouts that we see here on like these typical breakout growth stocks, they might be sold off as people just sell into strength, book some profit. And with that said, I want to see some breakouts actually break out on good volume and hold, close near the high of the day, and get some continuation the next day. And not just one, but a couple of breakout stocks do that before I'm getting more aggressive with my entries. I'll take a 3% position, a 5% position here and there with tight stops, but I'm not going to be going back to my full 10% positions until we really see growth stocks break out and hold and kind of not just bounce back off some lows. So this was one that I was just watching today. Did get over basically every couple of lower pivots in here that you could have bought on. So now I'm just looking for a break over all-time high Not sure if I'm going to buy this one, but 14.95, a break over 15. I know it's at that after hours. So if we open up under that and then take out 15, that is definitely buyable. ORGO. Notice again that the pullback undercut the 20-day and undercut all the lows in this pullback. So that's nice to see. Pack is next. Finally getting a drift down to the right. Tested the 20-day, that bounced there. Very little pullback on Tuesday, which is, you can see relative strength compared to QQQ, picking up the entire way. Good volume on the way out, lower volume on the way back in, good volume on the way out, lower volume on the way back in. So it's doing all the right things. Maybe, let's see. Again, this is reflecting after hours, but a break over 1991, just this. Is this 1991 too? 1983. So a break over this area right through here. The high from the 19th, that's my possible buy point on that one. Maybe you wait just to a break of 20, but I'll probably jump in a little bit before that. That's pack, slightly less traded, 227 shares, 227,000 shares traded today. Next we go to Penn National Gaming. Good undercut on Tuesday, as many stocks had. Undercut all the lows in the previous pullback. Set up. This was one that I was thinking about buying around here because it was holding up well. This is a name that I've been wanting to get back in for a while now, but thankfully did not. Had the flush on Tuesday. Higher highs, higher lows today. Bounced at the 20-day, closed over the 8-day. So I'm just looking to break over Monday's high, 124.07 is a possible buy point. So right through there. It's Penn. SSTK, Shutterstock. Man, this is one that's been just a monster since like mid 2020. Had their earnings, really nice move off of earnings. Let's do a little measuring. So a 40% on earnings, move on earnings, pulled back to the 8-day, inside day to day. With this one, because it's still kind of quick in the pullback, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, what I'm going to require before I trade this is we undercut the lows from Tuesday, take out any stops that were placed right on the 8-day, as some short-term traders like to trade on that moving average. So if we could take out the low from this day and then rally back over the high from that same day, from Tuesday of 92.12, then I would put the trade on. If we just open higher and take this out, I'm not going to take the trade just because it's a little bit lower probability unless we can get that shakeout beforehand. It's SSTK. Tiger, we have next, TIGR. This is one that I traded up through here. I think I got sold the rest around these two red candles. So missed the final move up here, but that's okay because stocks always pull back. Pulled back to the 20-day, undercut that. Inside day today. This is a tricky one because I do want to get back into this, but we have this volume shelf up here that could be possible resistance if we move higher. Let's see, 12% move into a volume shelf. Probably another one where if we can undercut the low from today and then run back over the high, then that would be a possible buy point. Or I'm going to give this a little bit of time to flag out, tighten up a little bit more, have volume come in, have the rest of the market prove themselves, and then try and get in for another position here. But if we can undercut the lows from today, take out the high, that's my possible buy point. This is called volume profile on E-Trade and on Thinkorswim. Not sure what it's called on other trading platforms, but got volume profile here that shows the volume at each of the price ranges and then daily volume on the x-axis. TIGR. Got two more for you, and then we'll get to the stocks in the comment section. So TWTR, Twitter, good flush on Tuesday, ran back up, good relative strength. Close today's candle completely in the upper half of the previous day's candle, also on lower volume, slight red day. And what I'm looking for is just a break into all-time highs for a possible buy point there, 74.96. That's TWTR. If we get a couple more days where like this can move down to the side, the 20-day can move up, that'll take probably a week or two. So might not have that kind of timing. But if we pull back, don't take it off your watch list. Just have your alert set up for this price and um, get ready if it moves. What was the last one? VERU. So this broke out really strong, 240% or so. Then spent, let's see, from the 15th to almost two full months tightening up, um, and then just absolutely took off. What was that? 4 trading days up 160%. Unfortunately, I missed that move, but now we're getting a nice pullback. We're right on the 20-day moving average, higher highs, higher lows today. Lower volume in the last couple sell-off days. Um, this falling wedge is a pattern that some traders can trade. Typically, I don't like to trade this, but it has so much power behind it and so little volume coming back down that I might be tempted to just take a smaller position size, see if I can get one of these pullback buys going, um, but not going to be like my bread and butter type trade. Just something to watch. But really just no volume coming back during the pullback here, which is nice to see. All right, so let's go with your guys' stocks. APHA. Yeah, this one, man, that got squeezed, then malfunctioned down 55%, pop back up. So typically, once you have a pullback over, say, say 30%, you'll need about. So it's tough with this name because like there's a lot more power behind this than other setups, but typically in a normal growth stock, when you pull back over 30%, you'll need at least 6 to 8 weeks to kind of base out before turning up. You'll get these bounces for sure because the stock's not just going to keep falling. They're going to bounce, but those bounces typically get sold off because new traders got in. Someone got in at this top tick, right? So a lot of traders are stranded up here. So when something bounces, they can get out for either break even or close to break even, and they're going to take that opportunity. We might see that with GameStop, where people are going to be cutting, um, like getting out for even when they thought they'd never have that opportunity again. But when you have a strong pullback like this, it takes a while for that bounce, pullback, bounce action to tighten up before it actually gets going, breaks out to new highs again. So if you're just trading for a bounce, then you look at the 20-day moving average that held up. Well, it undercut, but then we closed over that. Has not closed under that in a while now. So with this type of name, I'll be patient on it. If it goes without me, that's fine. If the market's healthy, there's going to be another breakout stock just around the corner. So I never have FOMO, fear of missing out, because if the market's healthy, the next breakout stock's right around the corner. And if the market's not healthy, then it's a good thing that I didn't put extra exposure on. So I don't really ever fear that missing out that a lot of traders struggled with. I struggled with before too. Like so when I first started, I definitely struggled with that. But the longer you trade, the more you see this, and um, you trade with less emotion. But I mean, really strong name. Definitely one that I have on my general watch list. But for my type of trading, it's going to take a little bit of time for setup. Covered costs. Let's go Palantir. Yeah, this one was a really nice quick trade for me on this breakout and then selling half there, half not all the way up top, but into there. Then something malfunction, like the market pulled back there. We got a mini bounce. I mean, call it mini. It's probably 30%. Yeah, 30% bounce. But again, once you have a pullback of over 25%, that one was 32. Typically, you need more time to set up there. So second pullback through here. Now we even undercut the pullback on the 18th. I don't know. Something's wrong with this stock. It's right back at the previous volume shelf here. It's now sitting underneath it a little bit. So uh, if we can move over the high from February 22nd, so over 30.20, that could be a possible buy point. So we gap down on earnings. So once we get up over there, that's an area that I would be looking at buying, not just randomly down here because I mean, if the market starts to pull back even more, you could just really have this flush even lower. So I'm only trying to put my money in the market if the momentum's already on a trade. So I'm buying the breakout as it's breaking out. Otherwise, I'm going to keep my money on the sidelines where there's no risk on it. I can't lose money while it's not in a trade. So TGTX. Yeah, what was this? Man, this fake breakout. If that one went, I had 20% position size. My one of my largest trades I put on this day. Thankfully, I put half my stop at entry once it got out, sold some into strength, so it was a forgettable loss, 1-2%. But man, that's one where it's like if it got going, it looked like it was great. It broke over the high from both of those days. Did so on volume coming out. I was like, all right, here we go. But I mean, that's why you have defensive trading mechanisms. That's why you have defensive trading strategies because no matter how perfect a breakout looks, how perfect a setup looks, it can go against you. And I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I just want to make money. So I have no problem when something starts squatting and working against me saying, oh, I'm wrong, take the trade off. And that's a good habit to have. You can always get back into a stock, but once something starts pulling back on you, uh, it's tough to make back. Man, this one's just been riding down that 8-day exponential. Today, tested it, failed, low volume on the bounce. Has earnings. Yeah, I'm not trading into earnings for sure. One, unconfirmed. One of my rules is never to trade a stock under the 50-day moving average, and now this one's under the 50 as well. So not something that I would personally trade. Doesn't mean it can't work, but not not something with too high probability. SNDL, what is that? Oh. Hmm. So I don't trade stocks under $5. I'm not gonna kind of break this down because I don't know how this trades. Haven't been studying chart under $5 charts much, so stick to what you know always. Yeah, same with this one. Under five, earnings coming up. I never trade into earnings. Um, if I have a position on already going into earnings and I have a 10% profit or more, then I might take some of the stock into earnings just because I have that profit buffer. But um, if I don't have a profit, there's no way I'm putting on a trade going into earnings because earnings are just flip of the coin, and you can't protect against gap down risk very well. So always thinking risk first, always protecting your the capital in your account. Let's go Fubo. Fubo has earnings coming up too, right? Yeah. Yeah, so this looked like a nice cup and handle, very low volume on the pullback to the 20-day. I was really looking for this one. If we turned and took out the high from the 16th, I was gonna take that with a lot of position or large position. Never got that, kept flushing, and then Tuesday we really got that gap down. Buyer stepped in, been sitting right at the 50-day. So I mean, again, going into earnings, I'm not going to be doing anything with this one. Um, we'll see how it trades. But another good example of when you pull back more than 30%, more than 40%, you're going to get a bounce, but it's going to take a while to really um, get out to new highs. Let's go. Am I trading tomorrow? I mean, yeah, I took a couple trades today. I think only 4% size, like 4% of my portfolio on the trade. And then in this type of environment where we got the flush, everything's super volatile. growth stocks are relatively weak. I mean, they bounced back today, but have been relatively weak. I'm going to be quicker to take profits, partial profits, quicker to move my stop to my entry, so I'm taking out that initial capital risk. Because as a breakout trader, this is not the environment for me to do well. So I'm not going to be trading a lot. Uh, from mid-December to mid-February, that was when I was swinging for the fences and really hitting breakouts hard, making a ton of money. Um, but then everything got extended. I was selling into strength, putting on some hedges with SQQQ, and was able to get out basically, I don't know, 3 or 4% from my account balance high. Um, but this is not the environment for me. So I'm putting some feelers out with small trades uh, in some setups that are working, but uh, not trying to hit any home runs this week, or even probably should keep an open mind. Not trying to hit any home runs this week. Let's see if I could get some profit and then kind of move some stops up to entry and then put on some new positions. By moving your stop to your entry on new trades, then you could take, or on your trades, you can take new positions, new trades on, and then you can have more exposure in the market with the same amount of risk to your initial capital. And that's a great way to just keep leveraging up with the same amount of risk. So if the market does really bounce higher or push higher, you're making a ton of money with very little risk. Let's see, AAL. Yeah, economy reopening. This is looking like it's turning up. You got the 200-day in an uptrend now, good volume. I haven't taken any of these airline stocks because I don't know. It doesn't really fit my trading strategy because we have a lot of overhead here. I mean, even before the illness, this had been in a pretty strong downtrend. So I doubt we're reinventing flight for the better before this. So I don't know. Probably not a stock that I'm going to be trading, but definitely one that that'll make you some money, up 23% in short order. So, but I'm not buying an extended stock like this. I'll wait for it to pull back, for it to tighten up, where I can put on a pretty small stop loss and then try and trade it. Let's see, OEG. I think, yeah, that was, man, this was the first. This was one of the first stocks that really signaled to me that the market was getting shaky because look at this. We had 3 daily highs right at the same price. This is a trade that I took, by the way. Um, I mean, super strong breakout up through here, 787%, whatever. Pulled back, held the 8 day, had a beautiful flush under some previous lows, set that 1, 2, 3 daily high pivot, broke out over that on volume. So, I mean, this you lined up every single thing that goes into a nice breakout. So I took that trade, and then the next day it immediately reversed, squatted down, flushed under the previous day's low, and I was like, that's weird. That was everything that you look for in a breakout setup. That's a warning sign for the market. So once I got stopped out of that, and I got stopped out of a couple other trades for smaller losses, after this one, I started really going smaller with my trades. And after this and then a couple others, I was just going to cash, selling whatever was bouncing up. Uh, and that's, I mean, good thing I got stopped out the next day because, I mean, I don't know exactly the price I got stopped out, but 43% pullback to the 50-day, bounced right there, but I would have been stopped out. I, I don't know. You would have panic sold. I would have panic sold at least at some point during here. So that's why I like to put in the stops because, I mean, you, I can't trust myself and my emotions enough to not use hard stops. I know sometimes algorithms go after them and hit them, but I would much rather get stopped out of a trade for a 5% loss and then it takes off than trusting my emotions every single day on every single trade where if things are starting to flush and pull back and I just freeze, then that could ruin an account for a year. If I get stopped out of a trade that just takes off without me, that ruins my 25 minutes until I find the next setup. Doesn't matter. Again, no FOMO. Go in with a plan. Always risk first. There's going to be times to make money in the market and really swing for the fences, and then times to play some defense. And right now, I'm playing defense. It's not glamorous right now, but we had a lot of fun from mid-December to February. So MGNI. Yeah, this is one that I had on my watch list. Let's see. Oh, earnings today after hours. So I guess we'll see how this trades. Good flush on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm not the greatest trading after earnings, like the day after earnings. So I probably won't trade this again, sticking to what you know, especially in this type of environment. But um, definitely be looking at 61, 67, the high from what is that? Tuesday, Monday, for a possible buy point there. We'll see. With a name this kind of strong or this volatile, you'd expect earnings to be more than just up a 0.5% after hours if earnings were truly today after hours. All right. Do you recommend? So I don't do a trailing stop. What I'll do is typically, if I guess typically I'll use either the day's low or the previous day's low as my stop, as long as that's within 7% of my entry point. I never use a stop over 7%. Um, Otherwise, I'll just use an arbitrary 5% stop. So if the previous day's low is lower than 7%, then the high that I'm buying at, then I'll just use 5%. If a stock has been trading and the pattern gets really tight, the daily bars get really tight, ATRs coming in, volumes coming in, and we're right near a buy point, I'll really try and hit that trade with a lot of size, and then use like a 3% stop, like you guys said. So think about it this way: if you can use a 3% stop, then you could take twice the amount of trades and still have the same amount of risk as one 6% stop. So if that's the case and you put two 3% stops on and the market just rips, it goes higher, then you have two positions on more exposure going up. If you have two positions, or if you have one position on at 6% stop and the market goes up, that's you're making money, but you're not going to be accelerating your gains as much. And reverse, if you have two positions on 3% stop, the market pulls back, that's one basically full stop you have of 5 to 6%. So uh, when I can get a 3% stop, I really like to use that because you could take 10, 10 trades, and if I get one 30% winner, that pays for 10 different losing trades. So then your win-loss ratio doesn't even have to be 50-50 for you to be a profitable trader. And I was looking at my trading stats the other day, and I think I'm like 48% win rate. So I'm not even winning half the trades, but because I'm cutting my losers so quickly, and then letting some winners run, I've I've been consistently profitable. It's always about keeping your losses small. All right, SOS. Yeah, this one seems like it's going to need some work. Down 60% there. Got to bounce. So this one, like Fubo back then, after it topped out, you're probably going to see a bounce at some point, but and it might be substantial enough for you to just like go in and take your profit on the way out. But that's not what my trading strategy is about. This if it bounces here, you got a volume shelf there that people are trapped in at these higher prices that don't want to admit that they were wrong for not using stop losses. And if they get a chance to take their trade off for even, they'll likely do that. So with this, I'm gonna let this pull back, bounce, and flag out. Maybe take this in a couple weeks or so. But um, yeah, I'm just not one of those like pure pullback buyers. Like, oh, it hit the 20-day, buy the 20-day. I haven't been super successful with that. and it's not something that I've studied. I haven't spent the hours learning that strategy. So using the Shaq analogy, I'm not gonna Shaq's not gonna be shooting threes randomly one day. So I'm not gonna be a pullback buyer one day. I'm gonna stick to what I know. And we have JMIA. I think this had earnings pre-market today. Is that right? Yeah, pre-market today. Kind of all over the place. I was watching this one. Hit the 8-day exponential. Kind of sold off from there a little bit. This was another one. Nice cup handle. Boom. Out on volume. You could sell some into strength there. Uh, and then it just kind of rolled over. So let's see. What are we from the highs? Yeah, pulled back 41%. That's rough. And that's why, like on these types of moves, you sell some into strength, move your stops up, and then you get caught on like your last piece of the trade for 10% from the high, 15% from the high, but you're not holding a full position, pulling back 40%, ruining not only your profit, but also that's a shake of confidence too. That's again another reason why I love just taking small losses because I can come in, day after day, even if I got stopped out of 5 trades at 3%. I mean, that's not going to shake my confidence too much. But if I saw my full account pull back 40%, that's tough. So yeah, with this, we'll give this some time to set up. I'm not just going to be buying kind of off the break here. Maybe this can trade sideways and we could use today's high as a possible buy point, but let's see. Yeah, I don't have any Dogecoin. um, Again, there's definitely a way to make money in it, but uh, not for me. SFTW. Yeah, this one all over the place as well. Only down 28%. The chart looked way worse than 28% pullback. I don't know. If this is like, look at the average true range. This measures those daily bars. I want that to get as tight as possible. So I want this line down here to pull in because then less people are disagreeing on the price. Everything's kind of pulling back, tightening up. And then when a big buyer steps in, after everyone's kind of agreed on the price, that's where you get that illiquidity and it really starts to take off. So on this kind of move, like where am I going to get my entry to where I could put a 3%, a 5% stop loss? Uh, it'll be tough. You're probably going to see some more volatility with this one. All right, let's see. LSPD. Yeah, a couple pullback days here. Not sure what happened on this day volume wise, but we got 2 daily highs, 81.97, 82.53. Yeah, so I mean, right at the 20-day, if you're a pullback buyer and that fits your strategy, you had 2 opportunities there. Um, if we can undercut that, like we have 2 daily lows right around the same price. If we can like, ideally, if we could puncture the 50-day, like a quick flush, and then move back over this volume shelf, the basically the high from today, that that might be a workable trade. Um, but again, I'm being super cautious in this market. Made made a lot from December to February. Now it's time to play a little bit of defense. LAZR. This is the other one. OEG and LAZR. This is another one that had a nice right side of the base. Had one day where we pulled under some previous lows, set up the trade, and then just reversed lower. I got stopped out, and then after that, I was trying to get as much as I could to cash. And good thing because this just flushed, and now we're under the volume shelf. This is going to need a ton of work. Um, yeah, I mean, who knows? It could just rip, but typically once you pull under that 50-day, once you pull under that volume shelf, once it bounces, you're going to see some sellers at these prices, some selling pressure. So probably one to stay away from, at least again for me. Boeing, good move today. Um, man, yeah, with the economy reopening, starting to see some plays like this moving. But again, for me, still well under the pre-illness highs, so doesn't fit my trading strategy. But I mean, you could definitely this was a nice move. Had a mini rally, and then over the weekend with the Boeing news, right? The airplane malfunctioned, and everyone was coming in on Monday like, oh man, we have to sell this, and it didn't really sell off that much. So when you hit the market and you think terrible news has happened, this is gonna like be a super red day, and it's only down a little bit, or even better, it's green, that's how you know that the stock's just shaking that off, and that's a good time to buy the stock. Reverse is true. If you go through a merger, right? CCIV, for example, the merger gets announced, good news comes out about the stock, and institutions sell off that news. When good news comes out and a stock moves down, that's a time to absolutely get out because typically that just leads to even further selling. DraftKings, we got earnings coming up on this one. So yeah, I don't trade into earnings. So that's why I'm kind of going with Penn on that. If you want a gambling one. Square, did they have earnings today? Yesterday. Yeah, that's just kind of pulling back at the 50-day now. Good volume shelf where it's at right now. So, I mean, if you're, I'm not even going to speculate. I'm not a pullback buyer. I don't know, but have some support with the volume shelf, have some support on the 50-day. But that's a lot of volume today, down 7.5%. Was earnings after hours? 223. I don't know. Let's see. NRZ. Oh, is that? Yeah, I used to trade this one, or I used to hold this one. Yeah. That's rough. I think they cut their dividend too. It was like a super high paying dividend, like 12% or something. I was holding it just for the dividends through here, and then um, not sure what the dividend's at now, but yeah, not going to be the super breakout stock that I typically trade, but could work. Relative strength's really picking up. That's good to see. Do you believe it'll hit $1 this year? What are you talking about? Dogecoin? Oh, I don't know. Probably not. Who? I don't know. So I would much rather focus on uh, like investing time into like the stock market and learning those types of strategies than hoping that Dogecoin continues breaking out. NGA. Yeah. Now we flushed under the 50-day on heavier volume. Even if we bounce here, we got we have that big volume shelf there, just 15% up. So that could be sold off right around there too. Definitely not something that I want to be trading. UEPS. All right, we'll end it with this one. UEPS. Down after hours. That's just market volatility though. Not bad. 200-day in an uptrend, 50-day in an uptrend, 28. So we got all the right orders. This malfunction's a little scary. Is that their earnings? Yeah. So earnings malfunction. That explains the volume at least. UEPS. So this is tough. 567. So that's where we closed today. This red's actually a green bar. Hmm. Yeah, this could work. Just a break over 588, the pre-earnings high, possible buy point. I'm gonna write this one down. UEPS. All right. Thanks for bringing that, Johnny. With that, that's going to be the midweek movers live stream. Thanks for coming. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel and follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok. See you guys on Saturday morning for a trading recap.